We all have an origin story. This is mine. I dreamed about having a record out by the time I was a teen. Back then, that feat was pretty rare. The only teen artist known for really writing, producing, and recording their own music at that time I was growing up was Debbie Gibson of Only in My Dreams fame. And so, being a fan of hers and her music, she became the most influential artist in my life in terms of being the artist to encourage me to write all of my own music, the lyrics and the melodies, and to have a record out while still in my youth. And so, with her influence, her DreamLIFE energy, I began to cultivate my own. Every day after school in junior high, without anyone even telling me what to do, I began writing songs every single day with the goal being, I've got to get a record out before I become an adult. When a local DJ and producer named Slammin' Sam, also known as Sharyn Maceren, signed me to his record label and worked with me for a year on a few songs that I had written, shortly soon after, my first record, Hard to Get, was released. Hard to Get reached the type of success I could have only dreamed about. It got radio spins, it became a U.S. nationwide bestseller, hitting the top 40 overall in the country in dance remix EPs on the Billboard charts. And the craziest part for me when I look back is that it literally took me years to actually realize that my debut remix EP had beat out a remix EP by another idol of mine in music, probably an all-time favorite of mine, Mariah Carey. I looked at that chart and I was like, what? I know it's just one chart, one day, one thing for anybody else, but for me, it was pretty cool, and to this day, I still think about it and go, what? This can't be real. But just like all dreams, there'll be some good parts and there'll be some bad parts. And if you stay tuned, I just might let you in on hearing all of it. Welcome to DreamLIFE Energy, the podcast for dreamers, believers, and dance music lovers seeking to find the life aligned with your God-given dreams. Join me, your host, Sharyn Maceren, a global #1 best-selling dance artist and DreamLIFE thought leader, here to share with you a God-given message: live your dream life the blessed way. In this podcast, I will be sharing with you personal insights and real-life stories detailing some of the lessons I've had to learn, sometimes the hard way, on how to find true love, true purpose, your calling, and of course, how to live a life with DreamLIFE energy so that you can make more of your dreams come true. So if you'd like to be a part of the DreamLIFE Energy tribe, then hit that follow button and stay tuned. So as I mentioned earlier, my introduction to the music scene with my debut single, Hard to Get, had some success that was really awesome to have for an independent artist on an independent record label. The part where there was a bit of a record scratch in that scene of my life was that I actually left the label prior to the single's release. When I decided to leave, I spoke with Sam about it, and he was cool with that. But he wanted to let me know that he was planning on releasing Hard to Get, and I was fine with that as well. So I ended up going back to school, and I remember at some point, my friends ended up telling me that they heard me on the radio. I never told my friends what I was up to when it came to the music side of what I was doing. So when they heard me on the radio and mentioned that to me, it was literally because they recognized my voice. And so the record skip happened when I realized that Sam had used an alias for the project. I didn't really know about that at the time, but when I look back now, I realized that that was probably a choice he thought he had to make because I was no longer there to promote the record. So when the song started getting more successful and I would hear it on the radio and I would hear the DJ mentioning, "This is hard to get" by the S Factor, I remember feeling two different ways at once. On one way, it was so exciting to hear my song, a song I dreamed about having out, like I said, by the time I was a teenager on the radio. But another part of me was crushed because I think a lot of artists can relate to this. We put our blood, sweat, tears, time, energy into our craft. And so oftentimes the things that we do with that, we really want to be associated with the work that we do most times. And that's why after Hard to Get, I never even wanted to use the alias if I could, meaning if I had talked to Sam and he was like, "You could use the name now, you could be the S Factor," I still wouldn't have wanted to do that because the way that I see myself as an artist, I see myself as me, even though it might be cool to have a name like Lady Gaga, right? What other cool stage names are there? I think Lady Gaga is the most fun name I can think of. But even though it would maybe have been more fun to have a stage name, for me, what I tend to share as an artist and as a songwriter, it really is so personal for me. And so that's why I could never just go and use another name, because a piece of my heart is what I always share on the records. And that's why after Hard to Get, I decided to go with my own name as my stage name. And so after that, Sam and I had to deal with some of the crediting and things like that on the back end. And he was really cool about it, with all the legal stuff. And so when I look back now, I can really honor the fact that he made it easy for me to get my masters back for Hard to Get, to have the ownership for that song. And so I'm really, really grateful to Sam for that. Sam, if you're listening, I appreciate you, and I'm happy for the success both you and I received from having that record out together. Another thing I used to think about before, when the song was receiving moderate success in so many different ways, I remember thinking to myself, oh man, it would have been so cool if when people heard this song or thought about this song, that they would actually know that it was me on the record, to actually have the credit for being the vocalist, the sole vocalist, and for being the sole songwriter. And also, on the first vinyl that it was released on, I also got credit for producing. That was one of the first times I got production credit, because I also produced the intro of the song and I played music on the song and had a part in how it came out. So that was cool too. In the end, when I think about it now, I believe that this moment, this scratch in the record, in the movie of my life, it was actually my defining moment of who I am and who I'm meant to be. Because it was at that moment when I had to decide for myself if I was going to live a life of DreamLIFE energy and keep trying to achieve my dreams, or say to myself, oh man, I guess that was my only chance. The truth is, every single day, we are confronted with another chance to live our lives with DreamLIFE energy. Every single day, we are confronted with a chance to live out the calling that God has placed on your heart. Is there something out there that you've been dreaming of doing? Are there tons of to-dos on your dream to-do list that you're still waiting to have happen? I can tell you firsthand, there is nothing more beautiful when it comes to your purpose, when it comes to your calling, than attempting to go and live the life of your dreams. If you were to look at my story, in the very beginning, it may have seemed that dreams were easy to get. Someone would have looked at me and said, "Hey, how did Sharyn get a record out on the radio? She's just a teenager. She's just the girl next door. She's just the girl that I know. How did she get on the radio?" But not everything was easy. Even to get to that record, it took days, weeks, months, years for me to develop and to strengthen myself into being the singer and the songwriter that you ended up hearing on that first record, which became my Billboard charting best-selling single. And so, to get to where I am now, to fulfill all the dreams in between the time from that first single to my brand new single that will be coming up next month, God willing, and the album that is soon to follow this summer, my 5th full-length album, number 5, those dreams could have been hard to get if I didn't live a life with DreamLIFE Energy. So for those of you out there excited about your dreams, excited to live your life with DreamLIFE Energy, I'm so excited to have you be a part of our crew, a part of our tribe. If you enjoyed this episode, be sure to rate it and review it. Send us some feedback or a voice message, whatever you like to do that right now. And before I go, I wanted to put a record on for you. It's my first single ever, a record called Hard to Get, the S Factor version, now under my real name, Sharyn Maceren.